Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you for the second time today. We were already on and we were already talking. And then, people decided they want to call during, moments like this, and it threw him out. So I had to bring him back. So like I said, I am still interviewing amazing people that I have seen, come across, who follow me, I follow them, and sharing them with all of you. Having said that, I would like to reintroduce you to Tylaan.
What's up? What's up? 2 times
Now,
around.
now, before we got cut off, I was asking Tylaan what was in his cup, and he said coffee. And we were talking, and then I asked him if he had creamer or things like that. Yeah, your phone. I asked him if he had creamer, and he said, he was into coconut milk and almond milk, but it never did anything to the coffee. So he just goes with cream now. And he said, and we got cut off because
At the blunt.
Yes, we got cut off. But he said that, usually he has a blunt in his hand and his coffee. And I asked him where was the blunt, because I didn't want him to be nervous for this interview, but I guess he decided.
It's this gonna make me want to get a blunt.
You better not.
I'm like, it's like, damn. So everybody will talk to me at the same time, and I'm like, today.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like my laptop behind me going off. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. It happens. It happens like that. It happens like that. Whenever you're really, really busy or doing something that you value, then boom. Everybody and their mother.
Hello.
Get this. Like for these interviews, I actually gave everyone that I asked to interview my actual number.
You better than me.
Get this. I have a number that I have, through Google, but I wanted everyone to be able to contact me directly. And there's a reason why. Because whether or not you call or text, my phone is always on Do Not Disturb. I do so much with my phone, so it never rings. So that's why I tell people, if you're trying to get in touch with me, send a text message, because I know how to, it will not come through. And then I had to take off because everybody that I asked, they're all over the world. So I have somebody to Saturday from Argentina. And so I need to be able to work. So what I'll do is I'll tell them, text me first, and then I'll know it's you. Let me know who you are. And then I'll call you right back. Even my friends will call me, and I'll be working, and I'll just check my phone, because now I'm in the habit of doing it. My phone has been on Do Not Disturb for 2 years. So yes, yes, Tylaan, yes, it's been on Do Not Disturb for 2 years. So now they call, and I see the little red, the little red thing that says you have a missed call, and then I go ahead about it and call them right back, and they're like, oh, and they don't even give me shit about it. They don't give me shit about it because they know that's how it is. So they just start talking. So tell us, right? So tell us, Tylaan, even though you're bluntless, tell us where you're from.
I'm originally from Lansing, Michigan. So a lot of people don't know where Lansing is, but I always say this. Hold up. So this is where we are. So the glove, Michigan is like the glove state, and we're right there. Everyone, when they think of Michigan, they think of either Detroit or not, because of the water in Flint, even though that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
They think of that, but no, I'm from East Lansing, home of the Spartans. Whoa, whoa.
So are you currently in Michigan?
No, I'm in New York.
So
in the Bronx.
You moved to the Bronx. What prompted that move?
Man, at first when I left Michigan, I moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
I was trying to blow up. I was like, I want to be big, you know what I'm saying? Most of the artists and stuff that I looked up to, like TLC, Outkast, Usher, all them from ATL. Yeah. So I wanted to go down to the ATL. My family's from the ATL. I was like, shit, I want to go down. You know what I'm saying? See what that's like. Get down there 3 months in, and the people I moved down there with, they didn't work out. We end up all just getting into it and breaking up. And so I had an opportunity to come to New York. I don't want to go back to Michigan, and I've been here. I just made 9 years yesterday.
Wow, congratulations. New York is a really, really good place to be. I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm not that far. Yeah, I'm not that far away from you. So, already a bunch of good, inspiring questions I have for you, because it takes a lot for a person. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Sorry, that's the shaman in me. I'm catching things. So it takes a lot for a person to leave their home that they've always known and, go somewhere and then have it not go how they expected it to go. And instead of hightailing it back home, they say, no, I'm gonna try it somewhere else. So automatically, I know that when I first saw you, what I saw was correct with my eye. You're a strong person, very strong person. Now, the one thing that brought me, or you drew me to your page and I hit the follow button, was because you're an artist and you've already touched on it. Hold on, gray hairs. The wig is gray, but the gray hair is right there in my face. So anyway, you've already
found one in my beard.
Oh, the wig is gray. It's ombre. It's black up top and gray at the bottom. So, that's what brought you into my sphere, because I was like, look at this artist. And what I loved about you was you were doing your own thing. To date, I haven't seen any kind of like any artist like you. Like it's not so much, how can I say it? Urban. And it's not pop. You're kind of like this, like spiritual gypsy kind of, am I saying it right? Like you're kind of like this spiritual gypsy. You've got your third eye is way open. And like, I like that. Then I liked your look. You're a strong Black man, amazing body, even though you're thin. Like, it's like, being like, look, I love all Black men. So I hit the follow button. So tell us. Yeah, so tell us, before I go boy crazy on us on this damn interview, please tell us, what kind of art you do and how long you've been doing it, and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I am a multifaceted type of artist, but the main thing that I love is music. I love to sing. I have a great ear. I got this guitar behind me, but it's been there. I've had this like 3 years, so I ain't learned how to play it yet. But it's my favorite instrument. I love music. I've been singing since I was like 5. My grandmother had a choir, okay? And my grandmother was like big in Michigan, like back in her day. She used to like direct different choirs. It's crazy because somebody that don't sing themselves have an ear. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And so she used to work with people like Shirley Caesar and I'm trying to think of other gospel artists, that would come
Shirley
to Detroit.
Shirley was right. You say Shirley. So
right. I never met her, but this is, what, my people told me. And it makes sense because we was in choir damn near 3 times a week. Would get popped in the back of my head. We wasn't doing something right.
Oh, wow.
Or like, it's just always been like that for me. So if I went from choir, gospel choir, to then getting into ensembles in high school and then in college. And then once I moved to New York, I came when I initially moved to Atlanta, again, just to pursue music as a recording artist. And it wasn't until I came to New York that I actually really started to get my feet wet.
Yeah. So what's your degree in?
I didn't even finish college. I was going for marketing.
Neither did I.
And I'm actually happy I did.
And here we are.
Right?
I'm sorry, you asked a question. Did you ask me something?
I said, it's just funny that a lot of people I know, what I'm saying, that's around the same age that, that didn't finish, they kind of feel good about it too. Even though I have enough credits that I could have. It's okay.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny? Like with me, I had mental illness creep into my life at 19, bipolar type 1, PTSD, and acute anxiety disorder. So I had to be medically withdrawn from school. So I kicking and screaming, because that was, for Black people, there's only a couple of ways out of the hood or out of the Black lifestyle as far as when you're struggling, and that is entertainment, education, or what's the other one? Athletics. But somebody brought in a fourth one the other day, and I forget what it was, but it was
like
the military. I remember.
Oh, okay.
So now there's a fifth one. Hoeing.
Well, you home for the
military. Hoeing. So hey, listen. Anytime. But you know what I love, and what I love about all of them, all 5 have in common? they're basically, once you start a business of any kind, you get out. So that's what I love. Anytime you get business oriented, and you would think that college would teach you what you need to know about business, but college doesn't teach you everything you need to know about business. I've been in this industry for 20 years and I'm just now getting my due, because I've been a Queen of Shade for 5.5 years. And I too, I sing, I'm a countertenor, which is a mezzo soprano, 39 years old. I sound like I'm 16. When I heard it. Not today though, not today though. I was yelling 2 days ago and I got a frog in my throat, but that's okay. We're gonna keep moving on. But yes, usually when I'm in good vocal health, I sound like I'm 16 years old. Oh yeah, you did. I called you. And what did you say? I called you and what did you say?
Automatically, even right now, I'm like, I have to stop, because it's just, one, your speaking voice is very unique and it's just soothing. And then your singing voice, it just amplifies it. So it's like, I like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that I could clean up, I could dance to, you know what I'm saying? Like while I'm chilling, you know, I love that.
So what kind of music do you do?
I do R&B, jazz, and I really say it's a mix of R&B, jazz, and hip hop.
Nice.
In a way, a little bit of rock. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my background. That's what I know. You know, growing up, well, it was gospel, but in college, I was in jazz ensembles and I was classically trained, and I never stopped. Like I loved that. You know what I'm saying? I that's how I grew up. So like those are the things. And I was introduced to rock music. I mean, where I'm from is predominantly white. So that's how, when I would perform and stuff, you know, that's what I like. It's so crazy because now you can go back on Facebook and look back 10 years or YouTube and stuff, and I see like the bands and stuff that I was in. And I'm like, damn, we really we was young as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like I got in this band called Bashful Antics when I was, what was I? 22. I was 22 when I got in that. And that was the first time I ever like wrote my own music and did all the different stuff. But all the guys were younger than me and they all were in the rock. So it was like, okay, whatever, as long as I can express myself and do it, and hey, I'm down. You know what's
so funny? You know what's so funny? You got ahead of me because I was just getting ready to, the next question was, how long have you been performing? Because I went to your Instagram and honey, you are a performer. You are a performer, like I mean a real one. I saw this and I was like, ooh, I don't perform like that. It was really good, Tylaan. Like, so tell us, like, you've never had like stage fright or anything like that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. But I think the only thing for me is that I've been doing it for so long. You know what I'm saying? I've been in front of people since I was 5. And then the other thing is that when I it's funny because especially when I was in the bands and ensembles, I'm one of them people that just like to be in a room. Like I just like to be a part of things. Yeah. I'm always being pushed forward. Like, hey, this one, come up here and sing. He gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? That's how it usually be. So I just kind of took him like, okay, well, maybe I need to work on some self-confidence because people seeing something in me that I'm not seeing in myself, and I just want to be here. So it really pushed me. And as a recording artist, like, no, you gotta be that. You gotta have that. Where people walk over you. So
now, you know what's so funny? I was gonna sign years ago. I was gonna sign to a major label. And my A&R, it was so crazy because at that time they were saying like, we like your voice, it's raw, but I always had that high crystal clear sound. So they were like, we don't want to touch it, leave it alone. I don't want no vocal coach trying to change it, nothing. But it's funny that you said confidence because they sent me to my vocal coach for confidence lessons. She was literally instructed not to touch my voice, but to help me find me and love me and embrace me and balance me. And her name is Deb Chamberlain. And I know, right? She's a maverick. This Caucasian woman, honey, when I tell you this woman is real. When I tell you this woman can sing, this woman is real. She's taught vocal coaching for, oh my God, almost longer than I've been alive. And I mean, she's just a powerhouse. And she even offers something right now for artists that is like transformative work. She's all about tapping into your ideal self, your authentic self. And she offers this course, but her husband his name is Robert Wynn, and he was my first producer. He was my first producer, and I just remember them embracing me, and I was young, and I remember working with them, and Robert was the first man to ever hit that record button and engineer me, crack a mic, and I'll never forget him saying what you said earlier. He was like, "You're blessed that you don't sound like anyone in the industry."
I got a question.
Yep.
This is what I wanted to ask, because I was watching an interview. Yeah. And you just kind of
tell him, set it up. You said you were going to tell me off camera, and I said, no, wait, ask me here. So you were watching the interview, one of the ones I did.
Yep.
Okay.
I think his name was Lamar.
Lamar, yeah. Oh, I love Lamar. Yeah.
So you were talking about when you recorded your first album versus your second album, and how more confident, how you felt like with the second album. It was like, okay, this work. Yeah. So, and I feel like that now. Like I'm working on my second, and I'm like, after I got through the first one, at first I was like, it took so much. Yeah. So much just to create just my first EP. Yeah. Now that I'm working on my first album, it's like, okay, I feel more confident. Like, okay, good. I know what I want to do. I know how I sound. I know what people like from me. You know what I'm saying? I get it now. I get, you know what I'm saying? We have this good dialogue between me and my friends, fans, followers. So I'm like, I definitely can understand that. And now I get it.
So what was the question?
I guess, what did you, when you were working on you kind of answered it when you were talking about
keep going.
But when you were working on the second album, how did you feel going into it at first?
I'm glad it's actually, somebody said this to me the other day. They were like, honey, we love who you're interviewing, but we get to learn more about you because we only saw you in 60 seconds, 60-second videos. So it's funny that you asked that. What happened was, during the time I was working with Robert Wynn, and he was producing me and engineering me, and he really helped me find my sound. I have to say that it was him that really helped me find my sound. My second producer, she helped me kick it up a notch. Like, she helped me because he was an older man, although he records rappers. Like I'm telling you, this white man can get down with the get down. Like, this white man, he knows music. Like, he knows music for real, for real. So what happened was, I started this little YouTube channel back in 2008, and I met my producer through a supporter there, and the second one. And what happened was, she was younger, she was fresh out of school, and this is the difference. I could afford her. Robert was already helping me, and I'm paying him for his help and things like that, but I needed someone who could help me, who I could afford to help me make the actual beats, because I have production credits, because, people don't just make beats for me. My producer doesn't just make beats for me. What happens is, when I hear a song fully. So when I go and I record, I'm telling her what I want, I'm singing a song exactly how it goes. You can hear every note, you hear every chorus, every bridge, every verse, like everything, chorus, the ad libs, the vocals. So I hear that all in my head. So the second, I felt more comfortable, because I felt like she really got the fact that I needed some funkiness to my music, because I'm gonna open up here and just tell you that a lot of my music is sad. It's because I've been through so much in my life. And then the battle, well, first of all, early, with my mother being on drugs and my father being who he was and not being there. And then the mental illness, and then never really living with my mother, and then living with my grandmother, and then being passed around the family. There was no one other than my grandmother that could really afford to take care of me and my siblings. So we would end up, like, they would try to help, and then it would last a year, 2 years, maybe 4. And then we were back at my grandmother's house. So it was a struggle. But what I learned to do was, I realized, okay, pain sells. Yeah, it does. But how do you make it memorable? And my second producer got that, because I said, I want to share my pain, but I don't want them crying. I want them dancing. I want them moving. I want them like, oh my God. And then when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, you hear this bitch? She talking about somebody hurt her. She talking about what the fuck? She talking about he did this. He almost gave her HIV. What? Like it's all in the music, but you're dancing to it. So that she got my idea on that. And then she would add extra things. I want to do this. I swear she's a young Quincy Jones. She's going to be even better. I swear. I know Quincy Jones is amazing, but listen, the only thing better than Quincy Jones is a new age person to do something new and take it further. So she is iconic. She actually just released her album. And her album, and she wrote it, produced it, mixed it, mastered it. I mean, and I was telling her, because I went in 2018 was when my album came out. And I told her in 2018, girl, because she can write any genre, make the beat, rock, anything you need. And she's younger than I am. And I'm like, girl, you need to come out with an album. And she finally did. And I was so great because she let me hear it before it dropped. And I was just like, oh, like it's on my page. It's on my Instagram page.
That's what you sent me.
Did I send you hers? Yes. Yes. And she had like the song with like safe word and all that stuff. And it had like a black
that's crazy.
Yes, that's her. Yep, that's her. So I'm not gonna lie. In coming away from Robert and Deb, there was a little like, oh, well, you just gonna leave us kind of thing. But we got over it. We got over it. I needed to go to the next level. And my producer's name is Kara Tabbers. I'll shoot you her information after this. But she, I'm always networking and pulling for her because she's just so amazing. But all the music you hear, she really she heard what I could do. Like I have one of my favorite songs, somebody was just telling me last night, and it is slow. It's called Hurt Me Again. And it's about like water, and it's about, and I say like a goddess, that's me, in love with Poseidon in the song. I keep saying it over and over and over. It's like a chant mnemonic device. And, people are now mind you, this album came out in 2018, but they're now starting to get it. They're like, a goddess in love with Poseidon. And I'm like, who is Poseidon? And they're like, the god of the sea. I'm like, what is the sea? Like the water, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's salty. What are your tears? They're salty. So what am I telling you? I'm a goddess in love with her pain. I love you. You're hurting me, but I love you.
I love the lyrical content. I love the use of metaphors and figures.
I try to hide it. I try to hide it well, but no,
it's good though. Because in today's music, what I see is like there's like no creativity in anything, and like telling stories or anything.
Yeah, there's no soul.
There's no lyrical content. There's no soul in it. And then people are like, oh, it's just the beat. There's like, nah, because even what you was talking about earlier, like that feeling, like putting the soul behind it, or dancing to the pain. You know what I'm saying? Having the lyrics behind it. A lot of people don't catch on to the lyrics at first. Exactly. They catch the beat. Then they catch the lyrics, and then they're like, oh, so it's like what they did back in the day during slavery. You know what I'm saying? Music was supposed to be for not just expressing itself, but it's communication. Hey, there's that star. Follow this star. This is how you gonna get north. You know what I'm saying? That's the use of it. And even in today's time, I feel like that's the point. You know what I'm saying, of music, but people don't seem to understand that because of like, I don't know what's trendy, or I don't know whatever the case is, but I write from that same place. I'm from pain. And sometimes it makes me like, now that I'm working on this on my second project, I'm like, okay, I'm in review right now. Like I just put out a single called What This Is, and it's kind of where I'm at right now. Because of the fact that I'm just letting everything go that's no longer serving me, period. That's what the song is about. And because I noticed a lot of, when I was writing my first project, that I'm like, damn, I'm writing about the same shit over and over again in different ways.
Okay.
Like, and then I noticed a parallel between that and my relationships. On things that I was doing. And then I noticed, not just in my like sexual relationships and romantic relationships, but my relationship between my parents.
Okay.
Okay. I'm seeing that all this correlates. So like all of 2020 and going into 21, it's been like, you need to do some self-work. So that I'm like, I want to talk about other things than what, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, even though I'm learning that it might be new to somebody else, it's not to me. So I'm like, I want to take someone on a journey with me. Like, that's what I was going through then. I'm not there no more.
Right.
This is where I'm at. So I'm like, I'm trying to like find that as I'm like writing.
Mm-hmm.
So like that is just, I love the process, you know, of creating that way. So I can definitely relate to you. And that's why I want to.
No, you know what's so funny? You just said something and I want to shed light on it. The pain of my life is over. Mm-hmm. But as an entrepreneur, I am doing the same thing. I'm writing about those issues, that pain, over and over and over again in very different ways. And it works for me because I have the ability to see it from all sides. So I can write it. Like when I'm writing, I'm in it, but I can see different perceptions. So it's kind of like with my Queen of Shade work. There's 22,000 60-second videos. Many of them touch on the same thing, but my gift is to be able to say it 50 million ways. I can tell you the same thing 50 million ways. And you know what's so crazy? I have never said this openly, but I get that from my grandmother because my grandmother was a teacher. So being raised like in her classroom and seeing her work, my grandmother was the type of teacher, she's retired now, but she was the type of teacher where she would have to get up in front of a classroom of 35 children in the inner city. And she would go to give a lesson and she would look at the children's faces. If she caught that a child was not with her in the lesson, she switched up. She would teach them the same thing, but then she automatically would try to, like, she would teach it another way. And I got that from her. So she could look at, and I mean, she could see this on every single child's face. My grandmother had a gift because she could literally tell if each and every single child was with her. And that's the one thing that the industry tries to create their artists to be. You know, we want you to appeal to everyone. But the problem is you can't appeal to everyone and not authentically be able to look at them and see what they're going through. It shouldn't matter so much that you are the star. It should matter more the people that you are touching and how you're touching them and what they are relating for or getting from you, which is why I'm doing these interviews. It's not about me. Yes, my content on Instagram alone touches 70 million people a year. They see at least one video from me. But that's not important to me. I didn't want to interview celebrities because I felt like they had already been published. We know what they want us to know. It's the brand, it's the treatment. But what we don't know is your story, Tylaan. What we don't know is that you came from Michigan and then you moved to New York and that you love music and that you've been doing music all of your life and that you've done rock, you sang in so many different genres. And that's what we need to know. So I don't care if I'm the only one out here doing this. I'm going to continue to talk to people that are not regular because nobody that I asked to come on here is regular. Not a single person, y'all, not a single person that I have ever asked to come on and talk to me is regular. I see extraordinary. I see excellence, and that is my gift. So with that being said, please tell us what this album is about. Can you say the name of it yet?
Yeah, so my past one or the one I'm working on?
The one you're working on.
Okay, the one I'm working on don't have a name yet.
Okay.
It doesn't have a name yet. I didn't want to do it.
So tell us where you are. Okay. So tell us where you are in the process, because you said you like the process. So where are you? I'm
still writing.
Okay.
I'm in the writing process and I'm meeting new producers.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for, because like I do have certain producers that I work with. So for instance, I want to shout him out too, because he's like very instrumental. Phil Kaysen. And you know what I'm saying?
Insane P. That's my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. I love that man so much. I love that so much.
He's one of them people, you know what I'm saying? Like, he probably think I'm crazy as hell though. Cause for like since I moved. Well, before I was on the
He's in
Jerry
Jersey, so
Springer
you come
show.
all the way down from the city to go to Jersey, like in the
Yeah,
lower end of
most of
Jersey.
the stuff, yeah, and going up either to Jersey or to Philly.
Yeah.
And then once he came here, but you know what I'm saying, for not just that project, but when it comes to just developing myself, period, like
he's
he's been that person that I would like automatically turn to, like especially if I'm like, okay, I just want to sit and create every little piece of this, you know what I'm saying? And that's really because we have long ass talks. So like I'm in that process all over again. And I love getting back into it. And this time around, I felt like, well, my first project, Whoredom, it took like 3 years to make.
Okay.
So that the time of my life, I'm like, okay, I said what I needed to say, but where I'm at, I want to like, you know, show where I've gone from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just to point out what you're talking about, like with saying something over, kind of it's about your delivery, right?
Right.
So that was something that Phil said. We did this song 3 different ways. Okay. So I got this song called Sometimes. It's sometimes part 1, sometimes part 2, and sometimes a remix. So
that's Phil. Phil don't play no games. Phil like we gonna get this.
We gonna get this, and I sung them
everything we need out of this.
Yeah, so I feel it. I'm like people, and then it's crazy because it's like based on your delivery, some people might not get it. That person might not get it, but this person will. So I definitely understand what you meant by that. But like that's the process I'm in right now. It's like, okay, this is what I'm saying, what people like from me. And this is what I'm trying to express. I'm trying to marry the two and put it out there. Just like be as authentic as possible. Like one thing that I'm wanting to be just more transparent about is my advocacy work.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with HIV when I was 20 years old.
Right.
So and I'm 34 now. So I spent the last 14 years not only fighting for my dreams to make it a reality, but fighting for my health. Right. You know, every day. It's like it's always been a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to do both. And I know a lot of people that can relate to that.
Oh, yes.
And I want to be able to like show them that, hey, you can still do you. You know what I'm saying? You can still do you can still be loved, give love, you can still go after your dreams, whatever you can.
Please say that again for the people in the back. Please say that again.
Yes, you can still go after everything you want. You know, do it. But you just gotta learn yourself, learn your body. Don't let nothing get in your head. And that saying that those who say they can and those who say they can't is very true. Yes. Because I like to think if you think sick, then you'll be sick. Yep. If you think positive, you know what I'm saying?
If you think healthy, you'll be healthy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's why so if I was to name my album coming up something, it would be the title of my Instagram, which is Sexy Healthy Vibes. Oh, I like because that's what it gives. I like it. And
that was an exclusive. We got that. That's the first place you told us the title. I'm so excited. Thank you for that. No, I definitely could see that. I definitely could see that. You know what's so crazy? I had a situation where, and I'm gonna tell you about this, and then I'll move on, because I'm really enjoying talking to you. I'm talking to you like I'm talking on the phone, and I gotta be careful because people watching, But no, I wrote a song on my first that actually Robert Wynn produced for me. Kara did do the beat with me. I sang it to her, but I went to Robert because Robert was also closer. Kara was in Atlanta. Well, she was in Virginia at that time. Then she moved to Atlanta before the second album. I went down there for the second album, but I wrote a song, and I remember. It was called Broken Condom. And I named it Broken Condom. And what I loved about Robert was the type of person where he let you be an artist. So whatever you wanted to do in the booth was whatever you wanted to do. And he would not stop you if he could see that the artistry was like in rotation. He wouldn't stop you and worry about your sound or even your notes. He would let it go. So what he did was, I wrote this song, and it was talking about, because It's kind of crazy. I have to open up here. One of my favorite uncles, I have two uncles on my mother's side. My uncle Sidney was my favorite uncle in the whole world. I remember, oh, don't cry, because he's always with me. But it's from the spirit world. But I remember him in the 80s. I remember him in the 90s. He was just, he was just such a brilliant light. And he contracted HIV very early. And I remember all of the experimental medication at that time. They ravaged that man's life with medication, but yet and still that man managed to have a smile on his face. He too was musically inclined. He wrote music, he wrote plays, he wrote books. He did everything. Before he passed, he started kind of like a Christian ministry by the name of Kairos. And that was like his legacy, leaving it behind. And I just remember all of the things that he went through. And then at that time, being a young kid, watching him be in pain, watching him suffer and have good times, it terrified me. And then unfortunately, I had another uncle. And that uncle was a shaman, seer, prophet, oracle. He never really said it directly to me. He said it to like my grandmother and other people, that I was destined to get HIV and destined to, yes. And what happened was that put a fear in me. So all of my adult life, I had a very abnormal sex life. I would have sex and then feel guilty. There was also indoctrination there, feel guilty and go for a very, 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 very long time without having sex. But this is the kicker, Tylaan. Every time I had sex, every time I opened up, because you know what you resist persists. Every time I opened up and wanted to have sex, I would end up getting into sexual situations with people that had HIV and I didn't know. So then we would use condoms, it would be safe, different things like that. But when I would find out after the fact, so that I just want to say that from now on to everyone, know your status and be willing to upfront say your status, because I'm a nice person, but there are people, I almost said niggas, there are people out here that will put a bullet in your head for not telling them. So it would freak me out because I felt like I was running from a curse. So it would be like every time I had sex with somebody, it would be like, oh my God, right there. And I never got sick. But the thing was, I had someone that I loved and they had HIV and they never told me, but I knew. They knew. I knew. And I saw this person for a number of years. We were always safe. It was always great. I enjoyed them so much, even to this day. Like I've been celibate for 9 years now, but but that was to focus on my career. Yeah, look at you like that right there, that right there, that right there. Yeah, that right there. But I wrote the song as if they had infected me. And the attitude was, why didn't you ever tell me? You could have just told me. I would have loved you. You could have just told me. To this day, I would marry someone quicker with HIV than I would with somebody who I don't know their status. Because with a person with HIV, I know what you're coming with, and I know that we can protect ourselves. It's actually to this point, because I've done it so much, I feel comfortable more with people that are, HIV positive. It's crazy. This is the first time I'm saying this on camera, but I feel safer because at least I know there's no gambit of, well, maybe not, because HIV is not the only thing you can get. Okay. You can get syphilis, SARS, gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, you can get a lot of other stuff. And I didn't get any of that either, but I wrote the song and it was 9 minutes long and 9 minutes and 36 seconds long. And I sang it in one take. And Robert was instrumental in that. He asked me, well, what's this song about? And I told him, and he literally turned off all the lights in the studio, but my light in the booth. So I could see, but look at this, Tylaan, it really helped, because look at how spiritual he was. Because when I looked out the booth, I could see no one and nothing but darkness. So here it was, my light sending out my lament into the darkness, feeling like I was in darkness, feeling like I needed to give this song voice. And I did. And it literally was done in one take. When it was done, he was like, I heard nothing wrong. We don't need to fix anything. We're done. Next song. And literally, it came out just like that. And I mean, I had in that song, you destroyed my life, you destroyed my life. And then I talked about, and somebody said the latex would make a difference in my life and that I'd be fine, but nobody told me how to deal with heartache when it came, failure when it came just the same. And nobody told me, and I even said that I would die. Nobody taught me how to deal with that. And it was just like, you know, a lot of people today, it's on my album, but I keep that song under wraps because it's so heavy. But the people that have heard
that makes me want to listen to it.
Oh God, no, but like it's out there. It's on the album. But like so many people, like I literally had people like celebrities write me like, I've never heard anything like this ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I commend you for your stance on that and your advocacy work. I want you to tell them because we were having conversation off camera, and you moved to New York and you work for several nonprofits. Please tell us what you do in those nonprofits.
Okay, to get back on the HIV. Okay, so reason I want to hear your song.
Oh, don't cry.
The reason why I want to hear your song is because that's my story.
Oh.
Verbatim. Like as you're talking, like getting emotional. Because I'm like, that's what happened to me.
That's what
happened. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like literally. And so I don't ever feel bad about it. What I be thinking about and what got me started and doing like advocacy work is my ex who affected me. I can't hate him.
Right.
And I still don't hate him. Like I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I got to know him, and when he passed, then it was like, when I say everything that you said verbatim, that's why I'm a little emotional.
It's okay.
Because
it's okay.
That's what happened. Like even with we were talking about your uncle. My ex, he passed from, you know, complications of AIDS, but even that's why I love today's time, and that's why I want to do this.
Yeah,
is because we didn't have the information that we needed,
right,
to help ourselves, and he dealt with a lot of mental issues. He was bipolar. He dealt with bulimia, anorexia, stuff. He had a lot of different traumatic things that happened. So when he met me and he fell in love with me, why would you tell the first person that accepts you that have HIV? And then he doesn't have that at home. He doesn't have any support or anything. So the one person that he had, he hurt. You know what I'm saying? That way. But so I'm sorry.
No,
so that
I'm hugging myself because I'm hugging you. Like I'm hugging myself, but you know, we're in two different spaces.
Like, this is my first time really going in, like talking about
it. This is the first time, so this is an exclusive too. I'm trying to make you laugh, Tylaan. I'm doing it on purpose. Please continue with your story.
I'm good. But when I moved here, I started doing advocacy work at this place called GMAD, Gay Men of Black, Gay Men of African Descent in Brooklyn. And that kind of let me learn. When I was diagnosed, my family, we didn't play no games. It was kind of like, okay, well, your grandma got diabetes, so whatever, we fixing that, and we gonna learn about this too. It's whatever, we keep them moving. But I'm blessed to have that. Other people don't have support. Right. When I started working at volunteering, then working at GMAD and other organizations, I learned more about the virus from just learning about it. But then from the business standpoint, the whole industry, like learning about everything. And through that, I met with different clients I had, and I seen my ex through them.
Yeah.
Like I seen it, and it just was like, okay, I think I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to share my story, and I'm supposed to keep doing, what I'm doing. Yeah. Because it's like, I could be a voice for those, like for him, like for people like him who didn't have a voice, or to this day, you would not think that okay, HIV has been around, shit, COVID then took over now, but HIV has been around for like 30 years, and now there's all different types of treatments, all different type of options. You don't even have to get it these days. You know what I'm saying? I wish that back when I was 20, that there was something like PrEP going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna be sexually active, and I know that one thing you learn about it in the doing this type of work is how people travel. So for instance, there's pools of people that kind of really travel in the same area. So you think like Atlanta, New York, Philly, you know, those cities, they're closer together. So those people kind of travel. So you got the same group of people really interacting with each other. Yeah, that might not know it.
Say it, Tylaan. Yes.
Yes. So you gotta like, the main thing I want people to think is like, okay, you have to understand that when you're going to be sexually active, that it can happen, you know what I'm saying? Just like you were saying earlier. But today there's so many options. So whereas back in my day, there wasn't.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to medications, you know, my ex died in 2014 and they started him on medication in 2008, but the medications are not what they are today. Right. I was scared to take medication because of what I seen it do to him. Right. It was almost what you talking about with your uncle. That's again why I got emotional. I'm like, damn, it's crazy because that's just like what happened to me and him. But today there's medicines like I'm on big therapy, and I have no problems. I've been on it for a year now.
No side effects.
No side effects. No nothing. And I'm like, damn, I was so fearful of taking it because I thought, since my ex was taking, you know, he was taking like 20 pills.
No, my uncle. You know? Let me segue right there. My uncle, before I went to college, he sat me down and he said, listen, you're a beautiful person. We know what you are, because he would talk to me like the family tried to, you know, because on my mother's side, all my aunts and uncles are gay and lesbian, but they were in the church. Ooh. Yeah, they were in the church, so they tried to deny who they were. So I was the first one, like, I'm coming out. Yeah. So he got with me for real, and he showed me all the medication before I went to school, and it kind of like scared me, but it wasn't his intention. He just wanted me to know, like, listen, I've done all of this, and I had greatness in my life. You have greatness in your life. Make sure that you are comfortable with what you're doing. And I went to college. I didn't sleep with anybody at college. I was there 2 years. I didn't sleep with anybody at college. When I finally decided to break my virginity at that time, I chose a man from Ohio, and he was like a very well-to-do. He was actually working on his master's, and he drove the hours to my college. And it was so beautiful how it was, because he allowed me to be me. He allowed me to just take my time. He allowed me to be me. And I will never forget his name. I will never forget who he is. Most people don't know who the first person was that they slept with, because, you know, you don't love them, so you don't remember them. You know, it's a hookup, but it was so special to me. And God, but my uncle, he prepared me for that. Even when I left school and had to go in the hospital, the rest of my family was laughing at me. Oh, you're crazy. You know, this is that, but they were always jealous. But they're laughing. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're done. You need to go in a sanitarium. You need to do this and you need to do that. And one of the last things my uncle said before he passed, he said to me, he said, yeah, they say bipolar. Yeah, they say PTSD. Yeah, they say acute anxiety disorder, but you're not crazy. He said, not crazy at all. He said, and God is going to use you mightily. He said, and one day you may cross the halls of government when he's done. And I was just like him passing, my family worked on me so hard. Oh, he's crazy. He's this, is that. But my Uncle Sidney's voice was like literally the one that told me, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. And I'm going to say something that I have never said. When I write my music, it takes me less than 15 minutes to write a song. And I have hundreds of them. But it's because when I write music, it's because he's singing it to me from the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Again, it kind of goes back to what we were saying about how music is like really spiritual.
Yeah.
Even people don't want it, it's very spiritual.
He sings me every song, every note, every bridge, every crescendo, every chorus. And that's why it's so easy for me.
You have a guide, angel guide.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing, especially, because he poured into your life before.
I want to say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you on this project that you're working on. Write about all of this, please. Write about it all. Don't leave it out. Because in this, do you know how many people, millions of people, have similarities in their story? They want this music that you create, and I don't look at this as a happenstance that we're talking about this and you're in the writing stage. I'm getting goosebumps. That's my
you can't make me emotional.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was about to be crying.
It's okay. Listen, I didn't think I was gonna cry either. But write about it, because there are so many people that have this story. And let me tell you something. They may not have it directly, but they know someone who has it. They have, have an aunt. They've seen somebody with it. Listen, I'm gonna try to add a little humor here, but we all saw Janet Jackson in Tyler Perry's movie, and she said, "Oh, so you're the one doing the bending, like like right. I want to, like, oh, so you gay, like he like, how you gonna ask me that, like, and she like, oh, so you doing it, like we all know somebody that has it, that has experienced it. And get this, quite frankly, they don't want to admit this, but if you're in the sexually active community today, being gay, you've been near it, you've been exposed to it. Oh yes,
exactly.
Yep.
So that was my point. I'm like, well, that's the reason why I use my art to talk about that, because it's more attractive to people. Because if you come to people like, hey, HIV, or hey, this, you're talking about, then it's kind of scary. But like what you did with the music, put them lyrics behind a good beat, they get a good message and can vibe with it. Yeah. There you go.
I have people tell me I listened to the whole 9 minutes and 36 seconds all the way through. And I had them, it was like they were in a trance. And the crazy thing was, I was in a trance when I was singing it. Because Uncle Sydney was like,
well, I would be listening to it. I would be, if I'm calling you, I'm like, listen, you're going to have me in my feelings.
And I'm so glad you have my number. This is why I give my real number, because we just had a seriously bonding.
Yes.
We just cemented our lives together. And we're both artists and can help each other. We just cemented ourselves together in front of all of these people.
What's your sign?
I'm a Libra. I was going to ask you what your sign is.
No, I'm a Gemini, but
get this, we're both air signs. Yeah,
yeah.
We get along real well. I always laugh because T.S. Madison, who I love, shout out to T.S. Madison. She has the most beautiful Gemini, like brother, companion, husband kind of thing going on in David Price. His name is King David online. And I spoke to him one time, and he was like, T.S. Madison's a Libra and I'm a Gemini. And I was like, oh, and he was like, so you know how it go. Like, yeah, we click, we know how it goes. So yeah, you being a Gemini, that's also how I was able to reach you, and you were able to reach me just like that without this camera.
Easy. It's been like that ever since we've been in contact.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, I don't want to end this just yet on this note, because this is a personal note between us. I want you to tell these people about your performance. Because I've seen clips. You don't play no games when you perform. And now, but get this, now I know, Tylaan, it's because you're literally giving your soul on the stage. You are literally giving your life, like you are literally giving us all on stage. So talk about, how you perform, like how you get ready for a performance. How do you get ready?
Well, I sing every day. That's one thing. I never stop training.
Right.
Like, just like I train my body, I train my voice.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? That, and I just sing the songs every day. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, if on the day of or a week before, something like that, prepping for it, it really depends on what's going on. If I have dancers, if I know like we doing a lot of choreography, then it's more so I ain't worried about the vocal part. I'm more so like the movement, and then I add the vocal in. Just let me get that movement down. So, but when, like, for instance, I have a show coming up in Jersey. What is the name of that club?
Please say where. You gotta say where. You gotta say. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
God, the name of the club. I can't think of the name of the club right now, but I'm saying.
Listen, I'm gonna put all your links under this video so they can find them, post something on Instagram, tell us where it
Yes.
is. Yes.
www.tylaan.com. I swear I put it up.
That's right. You have a website, right?
Yes. So you can
We
find me
might
on
as well
the
do it right
website.
now. This ain't the end, but do it right now. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Follow me on www.tylaan.com
Spell
or just Google
Tylaan.
Tylaan.
Spell it.
Just Google it. Tylaan.
There we
Google
go.
me. I pop up. But yeah, that's really it. Like for instance, oh, okay, I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
I just performed at OTA
Okay.
on last Monday, not just this couple days ago, but a week ago. And now that one, that was because I haven't performed in like in front of a like big crowd. And like yeah, because of COVID. So that was so fun. And only it was fun and unique because I was coming from after work, right?
Yeah.
I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah.
As well.
Yep.
So there we go.
It goes with the brand. You like, honey, I'm taking the best care of my life. I can help you get yours
I gotta
too.
take care of it, and I'm taking care of you.
Yeah.
So like I was coming from work and I had on my gear, my workout gear, and I'm like, I'm just gonna rock it in this. Fuck it, let's just sing. I'm just gonna whatever. And my friend was coming to support me, and Miguel, shout out to Miguel, had this big ass bag and this big coat on. And I was like, why are you wearing all that? We probably be there for like 20 minutes and then be out. He's like, no, we're going to OTA and you're not gonna look like that. So we get there, he pulled out this bag full of tricks, okay, and just was like, take that off. I get naked in the dressing room. We try all these different, he created a whole look for me with the scarf that he had on because the underwear, different stuff he had in his bag to create a look didn't fit me. So I'm so small. So he took this scarf and he made it look so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like underwear, but it wasn't. And people think that it was actual.
I saw it and I was like, I love that. I was like,
it wasn't a real scarf though, around his neck. He had this necklace and I didn't even know we wore the same size shoe, but he had these, like everything that I had on stage came out of his bag. And we had just made it up like 5 minutes before I got on stage. And everyone loved it. So I was like, that's stuff like that. Like, that is amazing to me. It's like, and they just pushed me on stage, like, go.
Yeah.
Like,
Listen, let me tell you something. Back in 2008 and 2009, I was a female phone sex agent. So I was a girl. And I had the opportunity to speak to a very high record executive. I can't say his name, he told me, but he called the line and he wanted to speak to me because of my amazing voice. So we, instead of doing the phone fantasy, we started talking about life. And he said to me, this voice, he was an exec. He said, this voice, sing something. So I sang something and it was something that I was working on. He literally gave me pointers and changed one word in my line. And I changed it to that in my song. And I've had great success because that song with him just doing the one change of the word, he was like, put this word in. So like we were doing that over the phone. And he said to me, listen, I work in music. I'm a big fish. He said, don't come to us. He said, don't go to the record labels. He said, and it ties in what you just said, he said, your friends are going to help you get to where you need to be in your career and in your life. Don't turn to the record label. And that's when I said, I'm not going to, I had a huge argument with my girlfriend, not my girlfriend, but my best friend girlfriend. And she was like, what do you mean? We were going to audition, and I was like, nope, I'm not. She never knew why. Well, she'll know now. But I just immediately, with everything, it was like, I got to do it myself. I started the Queen of Shade. I got to do it myself. Start my music. I got to own it myself, because that executive from the record label told me, don't come to us. Don't, because he said, you will come to us with everything and walk away with nothing. He told me, and he was in the business of signing new talent, of making superstars. We were talking about some of the biggest names in music that he literally touched their careers. Like if you would smack your mother, I'm not going to do that to him or me or that star. But he said, don't come to us because you will walk in here with everything and leave with nothing.
And question, why do I wonder, I get the reference with, saying like with friends, but was he saying that because so many people do that?
He was saying it because, well, get this. If you're an artist and you are serious about your art, what do we do as artists? Who do we entertain?
People.
What kind of people do we entertain? Or what kind of, here we go. What kind of people should we entertain? Here we go.
That's a good question.
Listen, I got the answer. I ain't gonna make you struggle no more. Not through this interview, no more. We should only be entertaining people who can afford for us to entertain them.
Okay, hold up, boss. Hold
on. So naturally, he said that because as an entertainer, you're entertaining people that can afford to come and be entertained by you. They're not hurting to come see you. They're not hurting to invite you to dinner and to this and to that and tell you how amazing you are over champagne at dinner. You see? We as artists need to understand that, and I'm glad that we're saying this at the end of this interview. We as artists need to stop doing the whosoever will listen, who just in front of anybody. And we need to do the, can you afford me? I want to give my gift. Who's paying me to show up? Because as an artist, I find, and I had to deal with this in the beginning too, a lot of artists just are so excited about getting on stage that their business is not taken care of. And when you get on that stage, you've actually given them more than you've gotten. So then you leave and you still got to figure out a way to pay your light bill.
But you got exposure.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. That's why I don't really, exposure to me is not, it's not high on my list, because get this, if I'm an amazing artist, you will hear about me. Sometime, some point, doesn't matter. You will hear, because that light will go out to the world. So that was one of the reasons. Like, I had one of my financiers said to me, he said, you've been the queen of shade on social media for 5.5 years. You ain't made a single dime. Didn't make a single dime. And I'm like, yeah. And I told the truth. I didn't know all the stuff that all the influencers knew. I didn't know how to get paid for my content on Instagram and through Facebook Watch and all of these other things. All I knew how to do, Tylaan, was work hard and give you the best. And I mean the best. Nobody will ever be a better queen of shade than me. Plus, I own the trademark. There will never be another me. And it's not just because of the name, it's because of the work. So that was all I knew how to do. I just knew how to just crank it. And I mean, I told somebody yesterday in an interview, I worked on my craft every single day. I chained myself to a desk. I only went to the store with my grandmother for groceries. I chained myself to my desk for 5.5 years to create that character, to get all those videos, to get all of what I said. I chained myself, locked myself in this room, and didn't do anything else but that. Eat, sleep, breathe. My grandmother used to say to me, I did not know that in helping and endorsing you to do what you would do, we would live in the same house and I would literally go days without seeing you. I listen. And honestly, towards the end of my tenure on Instagram, I started charging for mentoring. Yes, I have merchandise and things like that. One of my babies just said to me today, she's an inspiration to me. I had her on the other day, Garland. She texted me this morning and she was like, bitch, she's like, these interviews are phenomenal. She's like, it's time for you to take speaking engagements. It's time for you to take singing engagements. It's time for you to travel. And I said to her, you're absolutely right. I know the divine is leading me. I'm ready for what's next. I'm ready. I said, but I'm not going at this pace because COVID is still out there. But I know. And she was like, as long as you know. And she even said to me, because during COVID, one of my companies was disillusioned. I have to be careful what I say, because I said bankruptcy, but we did not file for bankruptcy. It was disillusioned. We ran out of money and we were able to disillusion it. But we were able to disillusion it because it did not make a lot of money in the first place. So we didn't owe a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of taxes to the IRS. We took a loss. So I was able to disillusion that company, and I was sad about it. I was suicidal. I was all kinds of messed up. But then one of my best friends, here we go, friends, remember what I said, friends. My friend, who wasn't even a mentee of mine, paid me thousands of dollars from November of last year to November of this year, just as a friend, for me to start a new company and come back strong. And the whole time that it happened, I still delivered those videos to the world, and nobody knew that I was sitting there suicidal. Nobody knew that I was broke. Nobody knew that my company.
Look at God.
Yes, nobody knew. And I'm sitting there telling them, you can be the best. I think those videos during that time were the most fiery. I was telling them, you can be whatever you want to be. It don't matter. And I was living it. So it wasn't like, oh, you just tell us these things and you don't live by them. You're some faraway star. Just tell them, no, honey. I was in the thick of it. How they say that song, into the thick of it. I was into the thick of it. But I just want to say, I thank you so much for coming on here today, because this interview conversation really is going to bless our following tremendously. The work that we've created. That's why after this is done, I'm going to send you your copy so you can put it on YouTube. You can put it, I'm going to send you the audio. You can put it on your podcast, whatever. And people are like, you're doing that? Yes, we created it together. I'm not working by myself as the Queen of Shade anymore. I'm still the Queen of Shade, but now I'm working with a co-star, so we got to have the same shit. We made it together. So
I know this. Okay, I know we ended, but I have one more question. How did you come up with your name?
My grandmother. At that time, listen to this, friends. 5.5 years ago, my buddy Faye Londo, his name is Faye Londo, but everybody knew him as Talk Gay with Faye. Yeah, Talk Gay with Faye. He was a big something. Shout out to him wherever he is. He took a break, a long one, but we miss him. But he turned around and I made a 15-second clip, and it said, I had on my grandmother's church hat and it was blue and the lighting was off and everything. But I said, I'm one of the biggest things to hit the gay community. So all of you haters and hatresses are just going to have to fucking deal with it. Adapt, adjust, cope. He loved it. He loved it, and he shared it as my friend. He shared it on his platform, and I went from 10,000 followers to 22,000 in overnight. And then me knowing things about, like, I just know how to do what I do. But I told you, my Uncle Sydney. So I immediately knew. I said to my grandmother, I need a name. I need a name. I got to come out publicly. I need you got to build an image that these people can follow. And she said to me, she said, sweetheart, you're going to be the Queen of Shade. And I looked at her, I said, can I do that? Can I be that? Like, because we know Mariah, I don't know her. All of that. There have been queens of shade, queens, plural, of shade. But guess what? None of them ever trademarked it. None of them ever went after it. So she said we got home from the hospital. She was in the hospital having a gallbladder out when she told me that. We got home and she said to me, now you know what you need to do. I went right upstairs and I petitioned the patent and trademark office for the Queen of Shade. And that's how I got my name, my grandmommy.
That's sweet.
And I lived into it, because when I first started, I was angry. I had a lot of shit happening behind the scenes, and I had some shit I had to get off my chest and unload. So I was unloading, and then like second year, it grew into this inspiration. I can be this. And it's so funny, because even when I got my first write-up in a magazine, it was the London Examiner. It was over in the UK. They wrote, her name is Shade, but she's far from that. And
that literally is why I asked the question. That is like, we've been like this. We've been like this.
But get it. I'm gonna tell you,
shady.
No, but get it. I'm gonna tell you, like my buddy who I interviewed earlier this week, Jonah Meme. He wrote me in private. He's a big old Marine and big old fitness competitor. He said he wrote me. He was like, honey, I ain't gonna lie to you. That name is catchy. He said, you were able to get that? Yeah. He said, and you ain't even that. I said, yes, I am that. Trust me, I'm that. I'm just over. I'm over the anger. I'm over the process. Like, yeah, now I'm ready to help the world instead of telling them. No, well, listen, I told them in the beginning, I'm trying to think of one that comes to mind because I have so many. I said, bitch, don't come for me because I will drag you. I said, I said, don't come for me because I will snatch your wig, your eyebrows, and your nose hairs. Bitch, I will drag you. And I will sign my first and last name in the scars on your knees.
Like the level.
Yeah, she was mad. She was mad. Yeah, she was. I was good. Yeah, listen, and I was upset about everything, so that was gonna be my autograph. It was gonna be in blood. Okay.
That makes sense though. You go through shit, like, especially when you go through, you probably got a fire, like, or like this is a lethal weapon right here. But I'm glad that I've met you at this point.
Look at you ending my interview. Yes, I'm glad to have met you too, and you have my number. And I'm gonna tell you, like I tell all the people that I want to talk to, text me first, because this phone never rings. It never rings. Thank you so much for this interview. And I want you, listen, I don't want you to go get off here and go listen to that song immediately. I don't want you to go do that. No, don't go do that.
Because I was low-key by somebody.
No, I know. Listen to something. You know what's so funny? This is what I want you to do before you listen to my song. I want you to go and I want you to pick your favorite song on your project that you already put out, your EP. And I want you to listen to that first. These are Queen and Shaman instructions. So this is me instructing you. Listen to your song first. Feel you and feel what you wanted to say, and then listen to mine. You'll hear it better. You'll hear it better.
So what I do too is to ask whoever's watching, because while I do that, for them to do that too.
Right.
And so the song that I'll be listening to of my own is what I just put out. It's called What This Is. And it's about letting go of shit that's not serving you so you can get back to business and do what you need to do for you. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be listening to that, and then I listen to that like, okay, so this is where your song will be like where I came from. You know?
And what it is will be where you're going. Thank you so much. This wig got on my nerves, child. But I got 2 or 3 more interviews. So this I might change this hair, child. I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh, now she want to behave. Now she at the end of the interview. So once again, tell everybody where they can find you, Tylaan.
Okay, find me at Tylaan.com, TYLAAN.com, or just Google that. Okay. Or if you go on Instagram, still TYLAAN_sexy healthy vibes. Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And I'll talk to you soon. Say bye to everybody.
Bye, y'all.